Chapter 240 Water Jade Coffin. Xue Fanxin did not quite agree with him. Jiu, it's not good to casually dig up someone else's grave, right? Furthermore, this grave is a little mysterious. As you said, there might be many wraiths down there. If we dig up the grave and release them, won't that be bad? No matter what, this was her great-grandma's grave. Even if there was an empty coffin inside, she could not casually disrespect her resting place. Although there were many unanswered questions, she was not interested in those things, nor did she want to be involved in a dispute. This is the place where the Spacetime Emperor's tomb is. How can we enter if we don't dig it up? Jiushang knew what Xue Fanxin was worried about, so he had no choice but to explain it to her. This tomb has already been dug up a few times, yet it is still intact. Apart from the slightly loose soil, there are only some footprints left in the surroundings. Don't you find it strange? Don't tell me that those people who came to dig up the tomb restored it. At most, 1 or 2 people would do this, but don't you think it's very strange that everyone is doing this? That's hard to say. Perhaps they dug up the grave and restored it out of respect for the dead. Little Ziner, you're too naive. If it were ordinary people and not cultivators, perhaps they would have at least some respect for the dead. They wouldn't easily dig up other people's graves, and even if they did, they would restore them. But cultivators, they wouldn't think so much, especially about ordinary people's graves. They definitely wouldn't have any respect. Even if it's the grave of an eminence, what they want is only what's inside. In order to obtain what's in the tomb, they can do anything to the dead. To put it bluntly, human nature was greedy. Xue Fanxin was stunned. She felt that the people in this world seemed to be even more complicated. However, upon careful thought, it was understandable. The people here not only pursued power and status, but they also pursued strength. To do that, forget about digging people's graves, they could even do even more inhumane things. In this world where martial arts were respected, strength was everything. Everything else was treated like air. This grave has been dug up so many times, but it's still fine. If it wasn't restored by someone, then it must be because there's something strange about the grave. I believe the latter reason more. There's something wrong with this grave. If I'm not wrong, it should be the tomb of the Spacetime Emperor. Really? The mystic crystal white tiger's reaction has already given the answer. Xue Fanxin looked at the little white tiger lying on the ground. Its eyes were constantly shining as it looked at the tomb as if it was looking forward to something. Aru! Aru! When the little white tiger saw Xue Fanxin look over, it called out to her and kept nodding as if to say, the tomb of the Spacetime Emperor is below. The little white tiger had a special relationship with the Spacetime Emperor. What it said was definitely right. But why was the tomb of the Spacetime Emperor under her great-grandma's grave? Great-grandma, I have no choice but to dig your grave today. Please forgive me. Xue Fanxin did not care if there was anyone in the grave. She had to be respectful. Before digging the grave, she knelt down and kowtowed again. Jiushang knew that Xue Fanxin was only doing this to reassure herself, so he did not stop her. After she finished, he got Shuri to dig the grave. Shuri was already prepared. He took out a tool and started moving the soil. Fuyun also helped him. Both of them had cultivation power, so digging an ordinary grave was not difficult. They finished the task in 15 minutes. When they dug up the grave and saw the water jade coffin below, they were especially shocked. An ordinary person had actually been buried in a water jade coffin. This in itself was unbelievable.